Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from gorgeous San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Don't you guys like that? All my kids love it. In the world. We just like to be silly like that. Let me share something with you. There's new language to describe the experience that we are all having on this spinning blue ball of water in the middle of outer space called Earth. And the language that's being used is, pre-COVID life, post-COVID life, current COVID life, the what was life like, the pre-normal, the new normal. There's a lot of language and conversation that people are using to describe our current situation, and that's what the brain does. The brain wants to attach meaning to different situations. Now, the privilege that you and I have, friends, is that we ultimately get to define the narrative. And what do I mean by that? We have the privilege of choosing to call whatever is whatever we want. That's why one group of people think things are happening to them because of the story they tell themselves. Another group of people thinks things are happening for them because of the story they tell themselves. Shakespeare says it like this in Hamlet: there is no good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Tony Robbins, say aye. If you know Tony Robbins. Everybody know Tony Robbins, say aye. Tony Robbins says, there's no meaning to any situation except the meaning you attach to it by the story you tell yourself. So whoever is the person writing the story for you or the narrative for you is influencing the way you feel about what is happening to you. Let me give you a small example. At the airport yesterday with my son, we had 3 different encounters at 3 different ticket centers, and the person directly in front of us was losing their ever-loving mind, going bat crap crazy, and he had never seen anything like that before. He's like, these are grown, gray-haired adults. I'm like, welcome to the real world, big boy. They were going berserk, and so we had this conversation around this. These people think something is happening to them because it's creating a challenge with what they had planned. But see, we choose to say these things are happening for us, not to us. What does that mean? That means that we have come to trust that things that we cannot control are actually meant for our good. We watched a TV show one time years ago, and I couldn't figure out where they were going with it. One man came on and said, I got a flat tire that morning. It was awful. I was mad. I got dirty. I was going to be an hour and a half late for work. One lady said, my child spilled grape juice on me. I was so mad. I was so upset because I didn't have another clean dress, and I knew I would have to go to the cleaners, and I was going to be an hour and a half late. One other person actually had a pair of shoes that was starting to give them a blister on the back of their foot when they had left the house, so they decided to come back, and they were going to be extra late for work. And I tried to figure what was the recurring theme behind these stories of things that happen to people. And you know who they were? They were people who worked in the Twin Towers in New York that fateful morning of 9/11. And those annoying things that occurred actually turned out to be the very things that ended up preserving their lives. You see, if they hadn't had the flat tire or the spilled grape juice or getting that burn on the back of the foot from tearing the skin on those new shoes, they would have been in the building and may not be alive. So they've come to accept that when things happen outside of their control, that can be a good thing. So the story you're telling yourself has a huge and significant impact. So what am I saying this for? Let's not talk pre and post COVID. How about we talk this? How about we talk a pre and post woke opportunity? What is that? That means you have the opportunity to evaluate what truly is most important to you now. Prior to this pandemic, it may have been being extremely busy, being stretched, never resting, never really creating time for self-care, maybe just feeling like a gerbil on the little gerbil wheel, spinning, moving very fast, but not necessarily accomplishing or becoming who you intended to become, not enjoying the life you intended to enjoy. You now have an opportunity to reevaluate. Let me share something with you. It's your life. It's your life. It's your priorities. If you don't define your priorities, they will be defined for you. And yes, there is some sacrifices if you're going to define your own priorities. And yet, what are you exchanging? You may be exchanging a false sense of security for true freedom. You may be exchanging a false sense of security for having true freedom in your life. There are opportunities. It is still America. There are still opportunities everywhere. This is still an abundant world, and you have the opportunity to be woke, to have a checkup from the neck up, as my mentor Zig Ziglar would say, and see if the life you are living is the life you would like to live. Do you realize you're one major decision away from a completely different life, good or bad? One major decision away. Why not chance it? Why not risk it? Why not? Why not? Oh, I know it might be as scary, and that's okay. But what is more as scary? Maybe living a life that's so sheltered that there's no true adventure in it? Let's ask ourselves this. So let's not talk pre-COVID and post-COVID. Let's talk pre-woke and post-woke. You have an opportunity to be woke. I hope today you choose to reevaluate your priorities, because guess what? This isn't a dry run, ladies and gentlemen. This is your life. This is your life. And I hope that you will hear, as I close with this, the last wishes of the dying in a book that was written by people who served in hospice for years. One of the primary regrets of the dying is, I wish I would have taken more risks. I wish I would have taken more risks. I wish I would have lived my life and not the life everybody else thought I should live. They realized it on their deathbeds in hospice. You and I have a chance to realize it now in this current season that we are living in on planet Earth. I hope you decide and get clarity on what's truly most important to you, and most importantly, that you begin moving in that direction. Have a great day, guys.